Hi everyone, I'm Scott Cooper. Welcome to the Cooper channel. This is my review of Aston Villa versus Stoke City. And last week I spoke about how it was a new beginning. We were all happy, we were all excited. It was like I'd lost my virginity again or something. But this week it feels kind of like I've been used and abused. It was probably the most gut-wrenching result that I've had as a Villa fan for years and years and years. I just thought, as I'm sure most of you did, we had a new manager, new team, sort of spirit, hopefully, a new, buzz around the stadium, and we'd get, a reaction and some points. I mean, every other team does, but I guess it's just the Villa way, isn't it? We don't make things easy for ourselves, and in the end, we're disappointing as usual. It was the same old story. It's really, really painful to watch, especially a game like that. I mean, even Sherwood on the sidelines at times in the second half, I was looking at him and he sort of looked like he was wondering what he got himself into. I think he sort of wouldn't have minded going to Randy Lerner after the game and saying, there is this sort of cooling off period on this contract we signed, right? I mean, when I said I was going to take over, I was just joking, because he looked sort of a little bit out of ideas, and it's his first game, and I think he sort of realises now what he's got himself into. Okay, so yeah, 2 weeks ago I said that we had Hull, we had Stoke, Newcastle, West Brom, and out of those 4 games we needed at least 6 points minimum to be safe. Well, we played 2 and we got none, so that's good. It's really, really starting to be panic stations. I think for the first time for a while, even for me, a kind of positive sort of Villa fan, look on the bright side kind of guy, I think we're favourites to go down. And that sort of really hit home in the last minute when the penalty was given. So we probably need 14 points from these last 12 games, and I'm just thinking how are we going to do that? We've got 22 points at the moment. I mean, when you look at the league table, there's teams around us have 22 as well. Sunderland on 25. So I mean, it doesn't look like it's the end of the world, but I think we need to realise that if we're not winning the Hulls and the Stokes later on in the season, when we've got City, United, Liverpool, these kind of games, I don't think we've got Liverpool, we played them twice, but we've got a run of hard games coming right at the end of the season. And if we haven't done it sort of by then we are in the shit. We are favourites to go down, I think now. It's Leicester, us, and maybe QPR. Anyway, so let's talk about the game. The lineup was interesting. I was kind of surprised, but in a nice way. I think Richardson starting left back was probably the biggest surprise for me. I got it here. Yeah, he came in for Stoke, and I think he started really well. I think the 4-3-2-1 that was deployed was less of a surprise. We sort of expected that, and I actually thought it would be Westwood and Delph. It was Sanchez, and I think now that might change for the next game because Sanchez had a very poor game. The other biggest surprise probably was the inclusion of Vla and Clark and the dropping of Akora, and of course that didn't go too well with him. But I actually thought Clark and Vla did okay over the whole game, but we all know what happened in the last minute, the sending off. I'll get onto that a bit later. Gabby, I guess, was the other one, which may have been different. It could have been Vyman, it could have been maybe Cleverly in that position, just behind Benteke, but he went for Gabby. Apparently he trained the house down, but it isn't enough. If he's training the house down, he's not playing well enough, and he probably needs to be dropped. I mean, well, he needs to be dropped in my eyes. I think he has been absolutely terrible. So I hope he's dropped. Let's see. Sherwood seems like the kind of guy that will mix things up, so never know. We started quite well in the game. We were positive, we had runners past the ball, Sinclair and Gill were getting on the ball, doing some nice things, some nice creative stuff. We had pressure on the ball when we didn't have it. We were pushing high lines, we were trying to win the ball back in their half. It was great. I was like, where has this been? This is it. It's the reaction we all wanted. We're going to go on and win 2-3-0, but what happened? What happened? And I'll tell you what happened. We scored early. And when you score early sometimes in games, especially if you're down in confidence, you can start thinking of the result and not the game. Now that is dangerous, especially for a team like us. We got nervous. And then there's the Richardson injury that really cost us, because I thought he was playing well and giving us a bit of positiveness and pushing Walters sort of further towards his own goal. So when they attacked, they had less numbers, and I hope he's not too badly injured and he can come back into that team. Sissoko comes on for Richardson after the injury, switches off, and there's not enough pressure on the ball in the wide areas. Easy ball in, boom, boom, 1-1. Now the game that changes everything, as we know. All of a sudden, it's Stoke that are thinking, we haven't played this well. We have had a shit sort of first 45 minutes, and it's 1-1 away from home. That's a good result for us. We don't need points desperately. We're sort of mid-table. 1-1 away, we'll take that. So, second half, Sherwood, apparently did a great team talk in the Leicester match, the cup match the week before. Got the boys going, and they came out and played a very good second half. This time, that didn't seem to happen. Stoke did sit back and invited pressure, but we, again, as in many other games in Lambert's reign, don't know how to break down teams that do that. We can't do it. We don't have someone that can unlock the door and play the little ball through, or dribble through the lines of forwards that they set up. So that was bad. We looked a bit lazy at times. We looked a little bit sort of like we weren't trying to push them, trying to push on, trying to run ahead of the ball, try to press like we were in that first say 20 minutes. We were out-bullied. Gill really dropped off in the second half. Sinclair as well, sort of, Benteke, well, I don't know what's happening with that guy. He should be out-bullying pretty much everyone in the Premier League. But no, they get men around him, it's a second string Stoke defence, and they marked him out of the game with ease. So I don't know what to say about that. We were outclassed as well. I think Stoke sort of sniffed, a victory, knew that we were starting to crap our pants, and they lifted, with the few quality players that they did have on the park, and kicked the shit out of us, and got the job done. And you got to give them credit, but that's not really what we want, is it? So so the game was looking like it was going to go to 1-1, and that wasn't a great result for us, really, in the scheme of things. So I kind of understand what happened with the Vlaar incident. Okay. The ball comes to him, but there's a few minutes to go. We need to keep the ball. So he sort of takes a touch and, wants to keep the ball, but he did it the whole thing was wrong. I mean, not the trying to keep the ball, I understand that, but if he had just taken a touch and gone towards his own goal, laid it to Goosan, started again, that would have been acceptable and it would have worked. But no, he takes a touch and goes sort of sideways towards Hutton, who's only a couple of yards away from him, and Moses just said thank you very much. And Vlaar, realising what an absolute dildo he's been, dives in, and game over. So I think we're going to go down now. I mean, my head says we're going down, So why are we going down? Like, why this season, compared to the last couple of seasons, are we doing worse than we were? Why aren't we picking up the points like we were, enough to scrape, you know, just hang on by the skin of our teeth? Well, I think it comes down to our spine, the spine of the team. Gusan, Vlad, Delph, Benteke. They have been the sort of spine of our team now for 3 years. And they haven't been performing in this season. Like, in previous seasons, they played games that got us points, that saved us points. Gusan was excellent. Vlad was solid at the back in a few games and got us over the line in a sort of 1-0 smash and grab. Benteke scored goals when we needed them. Delph gave us drive from the midfield and, you know, really sort of dominating there in certain games. And yeah, we pulled off these crazy shock results, but our ability to cause these upsets and pick up points have gone. Like, these, you know, we don't have any leaders at the moment. We don't seem to have anyone that's sort of rolling up their sleeve and saying, I want to win this game. So basically, we need a miracle. I think it's sad to say, but, you know, we are in the poop, and I hope all of you, you know, are not feeling too bad about the whole situation, but it is pretty terrible. I don't really know what to say much else. I'm sorry this isn't a really positive video, but I think our reality is sort of kicking in now, and we are in poor. I can't see us getting out. We need a miracle. Newcastle away. At least it got pumped 5-0 by City. So, to use a Lambert phrase, I guess we've got to pick ourselves up and go again. Alright, up the Villa!